Alright, now they're filming.
Alrighty then, here we are again today in this old boat, and this episode is brought to you by Perrier.
Just straight normal water.
Straight normal. It's that expensive fizzy water. Expensive fizzy water. So, we are fixing a problem on the Pearson 35 that a lot of people have had. My friends Bo and Brandy on Sersha have had the same issue. So we're going to resolve that today, and we're using Total Boat. Total Boat epoxy. Okay, good. Now, you can see all here, we've got all our biaxial fiberglass cut out. That is starboard bow SB side. So all of these have been cut. We're putting 3 layers on the side, 4 layers on the bottom. And why we're doing this is because when they molded the hull, they also made the ballast. And the ballast went into the hull, but there were 2 gaps on either side that they probably 43 years ago, they used silicone to seal it. They didn't fiberglass it. God knows why. Because it takes time. So anyway, in the factory, they popped in the ballast. They probably used silicone. And over time, the silicone is worn away, allowing water to go down into the bilge cavity and create a fucking mess. So we're going to fix that today, and we're going to use epoxy. And we have a 5-to-1 ratio, so we are doing 1, 2, 3. And I'll probably end up cutting this out. 4.
Yeah, I'm about to say, make your popcorn or whatever.
Make your popcorn or whatever.
Get your beer.
How many was that? 5 or 6? How many did I just do? Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, fuck. I hope I did 6. And this will be 7, 8.
Allegedly.
9. We'll see. 9. And this makes 10. We need a counter, actually. So we're going to get it all nice and mixed up. See that right there? Take Mama's best silverware and bring it out in the backyard and make a fucking mess. Okay. So there we go. That's a good mess right there. You need our chip brush. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. And we're going to paint out a section right here. I'll show you the way I do it. People do it differently. I do it Leroy's way. So I wet out that piece of cardboard. Now we're going to start with port. Let's go port side. Okay. So port being the port side of the boat, and B meaning the bow. So you see, notice I cut these all out. See that little gap right there? That little split, that little dart? That is so it will bend a corner. Okay? So, and you just get your resin, your epoxy resin on there. You don't really have to sit there and work it. It will work itself. Now that's port bow, right? Port bow. So that's gonna, I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing down in there, but we'll light it up better in the future. Get a lot of that shit down in there, yeah. Get that good old epoxy. All right, so there's one layer, and here's the other layer. All right, now I'm gonna gamble and put them all down at one time. Make a sandwich. It's epoxy sandwich. Okay, and we'll take our 3rd layer, which is this one, and put it down on top of that one. You know, there's some new boats these days that the layup of the hull is probably not any more than what I'm doing on this repair, which is crazy. But they've gone with all this high-tech and coring and all kinds of other shit. All right, so we got basically there. Now we're going to take this segmented air roller, and we're going to roll this out, try and get as much of the air out of this layup as we can. There you go. Here we got our little sandwich. Okay, and hopefully these darts are going to be open. Yeah. All right, now, if you can, follow what I'm doing down here. I don't know, can you actually see it, what it's doing? Somewhat?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what the dart was about. So it will turn that corner right down there where my finger is. That's what that's all about. And get it up. Okay, and now we go to port side aft, which is these here. See, that says PA, port aft, right there. And side, obviously. And again, it's got the little dart cut in it. So I guess it's called a dart. So that allows it to conform to a cove. I guess you could call it a cove. It's curves coming from two different directions.
And just dab, 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 dab. I had a friend who was like, how can you touch fiberglass? I'm just used to it now.
Yeah. It some people it really bothers them. It doesn't really bother me so much.
Not me either.
Well, that's good, because you're going to get a lot of fiberglass. That's good to know. All right, so now we're going to take our segmented air roller and we're going to roll this out. Get as much of that out as we can. That looks pretty good down there. I'm okay with that. So on those gaps were probably a good 1/4 inch wide down there, which would allow a lot of water to go down there. It doesn't, you know. So what I did, goodness gracious.
I sat on this and I broke it.
No, you didn't break it. If it broke by you sitting on it, it don't need to be there. So
another repair coming soon.
no, that's the.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, you can sit back. Now,
Okay.
here's our sandwich again. See that? In
Right.
fact, on this side, look at that. See, it's not, I don't know if you can tell it. It's not quite saturated on that side. So let's take and roll this. See, there. I don't know if you can tell that. But needs a little bit more goop right there. This biaxial glass, these glass, it's like multi-layer, is a lot more difficult to wet out than the old school Matte and Rove. I mean, that stuff wet out pretty quite fast and easy. This stuff, not quite so much. So, there you go. There's that little patty. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to smack him down in here. I don't know where I learned this trick about wetting it out away from the work site. You know, some people would take and put one layer down there and wet it out. You know, once you learn how to do this shit, it becomes very easy. And I'm not really getting dirty at it. Or sticky, let's put it that way. See that? I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that one little area, you can see it with your eyes. See how that's still white? That means it's not saturated with the resin. And
That's a problem.
well, that can be a problem, especially if you're doing a big layup on a boat. You don't, because if it's not impregnated with resin, then there's air, and air can be a definite problem if you're in the water because of osmotic blistering. But that's something we'll do in chapter 12. All right, so there we go. There's that one. See that? Now we got to get this piece down in here, nice and go on, lay in there like that. Boom, boom, boom. I like that. I like it. I like it, Morgan. I like it.
Good.
Let's get some of this air out of there. So you think you could do this next time?
I mean, yeah.
We'll start you out on a small project. How about that bench work?
Bench work.
Bench work is like making something on the mold table, you know?
Mm-hmm. I made a glass piece already.
Yeah? Yeah, you did. And what'd you do with it?
It's somewhere
You
in the
lost
abyss.
it. You lost it.
In the abyss of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to curse.
Mm-hmm.
This is a curse-free channel.
Curse-free channel. That's fucking right. No fucking cussing here.
Hey.
Of course, YouTube would what do you call that? Demonetize us. You know, you got to have, I think, 1,000. No, you got to have. They've made it where it's tough to make money on YouTube now.
Damn.
You got to have like 1,000 hours or something, and so many thousands of people.
1,000 hours. I would.
Oh, you got to have something. I forget exactly what it is, but it's really made it difficult for people just to jump on and make a buck. But they don't make their. All right, now we're gonna go 5 and 5. So 1,
5 and 5, everybody.
2, 3, 4.
Yet again, get you another beer.
And we mix our, and this is 5. This is exciting. It's like watching the grass grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 and 5 on that. Boom. And we'll mix this up.
Ooh,
Like syrup, huh? Ooh and ah. Did you know a funny thing about epoxy is before it sets up, before it goes through the chemical reaction and starts to get hard, you can break down epoxy with soap and water. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. They think they immediately go to the acetone, which is what you don't have to do. With polyester, you definitely have to go acetone for cleanup. For epoxy, like washing your hands or whatever, you can do soap and water. Back in the day, in the 70s, I didn't wear gloves or anything. I didn't wear, you know, back when the boat builders back then, we just fucking did it. So
it's like me now.
Huh?
It's like me now.
Well, no, you